All right, Tomboy official, we're back. Um, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about um, kind of like health groups. I guess we'll put it that way, health groups. For like through your healthcare. I joined a group that talks about A1C levels, blood sugar, uh, tips for people who are pre-diabetic. It's kind of like a nutritionist, dietitian type of class. Um, Mainly because the insurance seems to be, having difficulty connecting people with dietitians or nutritionists, and so they give this referral for this group, and it's covered by the insurance. But I'll get into that. Um, just some thoughts on that, but um, just a quick update, I guess. I've decided to kind of have my weekends be a little bit creative. Um, Especially after almost 2 weeks of like laying around watching, you know, YouTube and not really being able to do too much. Last night I was kind of like, let me just stop watching YouTube videos for a while and get back into some music. So, I turned on my keyboard and was kind of plugging around on there. Um, but I had some indica in my system, and I think that I don't know if that helped too much. Uh, because I was so tired already. I was already just like so like wiped out because I didn't sleep that good the night before. Um, and then I was thinking, I was like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna kind of refresh my mind on how to like read music, um, for piano. Like, um, I mean, I knew it at quite a few points in my life, but it's like it's not something I do all the time. Like, once I stop doing it for like some years or something, I just totally forget. Um, Not totally. Like I can pick it up again, but it probably takes like half a week or so. But I've been debating about that maybe I'll get more back into music. Just because the rainy season's gonna start, and I'm like, I really just I'm gonna need something other than like the gym or whatever to kind of like you know keep me focused on some kind of progress that's that I'm like more motivated towards. Um, like I've been thinking about joining some kind of groups locally. Like ever since I did that health group last night online, it was I was like, yeah, I'm gonna join it. Maybe I'll look around for some local groups. I sold another sports item yesterday. Someone had contacted me Thursday, and they lived in Hawthorne, which is closer to me, and they said that they could come pick it up today. They were about 15 minutes late. Well, not today. They said that on Friday. I'm recording this on Saturday. Um, but yeah, they said that on and then we kind of were in touch, and I asked them if they were okay. Like I had that health meeting started at 2 p.m. So they called me at about like 1 p.m. and I waited all day. I had this other call that was supposed to come through sometime between 10:30 a.m. and like 12:45 p.m. And I was so tired yesterday, and I probably could have taken a nap, but I was like, just in case I missed a call or something, like, I don't want to miss this call. They never freaking called me, so I don't know what that was all about, but all the stuff I had to like resubmit for something in particular, I just had to go online and just do it anyways. I'm like, I should have just done that in the first place. Um, it didn't take that long, but I don't know. I was just like, man, I could have just napped, and then the person wanted to pick it up they said they'll be there before 2:30, and then around 1 o'clock, the health guy calls me, and he's like, because I got an email earlier, but I had signed up for this health uh program, like, I want to say in June. Like, it was so long ago that I was like, I'm not even gonna want this by the time it comes back around. And then the other day I saw the email, and it was pretty cool to see the email. I was like, okay, like, um so I saw the email, and I kind of was like, it's gonna be at 2 o'clock on Friday. That sounds like a bit of a commitment. But honestly, it's like I'm not usually doing anything at 2 o'clock on Fridays, so I don't really see the big deal. Um, and so, I took the call at like 1 o'clock because I was waiting for that other call, and I was like, well, maybe that's what it is. But I mean, I had labeled this guy's name because I talked to him months ago, and I labeled his name in my phone, and like what he was from, the company he was from. So I was like, when I saw the number, I was like, oh, this can't be the one that I'm expecting the call from, which it wasn't. But I answered it, and so it's like that was around 1, and then I was like, maybe I'll take a nap, and I was like, shoot, I need to eat lunch because I waited past the 2:45 to try to like um uh I mean, past the 12:45, because I was like, well, maybe this person's just gonna call me a little bit late, and then by that time, this other guy calls, and then yeah, I I was like, well, I waited to eat lunch, and so then I had lunch, and then it was almost 1:30, and I was like, shoot, I got this meeting at like 2, and the guy who was gonna pick up the sports equipment to pay for it, he was gonna, I think it was between like 40, um it's for $40, and he was gonna, um I think, between, how much, um between, I don't know, between 2, I think he said between 2 and 2:30, and then sometime around 1:45 he texted me saying he'll be there before 2:30. And so then I was like, well, now I got to log into this meeting, like, after I took a shower. I got to log into this meeting to be on Zoom at like 2. And we have to keep our videos on, so I couldn't be all like disheveled. Plus, I was going to meet this other person in person, so I was like, well, I got to actually like shower and look presentable. So I just got that out of the way, and then by that time it's like 2 o'clock. I'm in this meeting, and 2:30 rolls around. Like, I can't pay attention too good because I'm like, I'm still waiting on this guy. Um, and he finally shows up. Like, I text him like at 2:31. I'm like, how are things going, kind of thing. Because you never know if people are really gonna come pick the thing up. It's like I've been talking to people since like last week. You know, um, that were saying they were gonna pick stuff up, and so, or earlier this week, they were saying that they were gonna pick it up, and so far nobody's done it, and I'm like, I've got all these people contacting me. I'd rather just do first come first serve. I know some people like to do, they want me to wait for them on their convenience, but it's like, you know, then people want to say, that they want to pay in advance and all this stuff. It's like, I already sold it. Like, like, I'm not going to wait for people who keep switching the day and switching the times and all that. It's like, if it's like, just like any store, come get it if you want it, like, I made the hours pretty flexible, but it's just the distance because LA is huge, and for OfferUp, people don't want to drive all over LA, and I'm not going to meet them halfway because I'm not going to be driving all over town every time I sell something, and people are almost always late. This guy was late by maybe 15 minutes, but usually people are late by like more. Like, I've had people be late by like 30 minutes before, and it's like, man, like, this is such a waste of time. And especially if I go out of my way to drive somewhere else, it's like people get so late sometimes. So those are some of the things about selling stuff online. Like, it's good to have the cash in pocket in hand right away, but then the issue is, since people aren't buying it immediately, online, paying digitally first, they kind of just take their time, and it's like, well, for me, it's like, I want to sell it now. Like, I don't want to wait. Like, to me, it doesn't make a difference. Just pay the amount of money you're going to pay, and, you know, we'll get it done. Like, because people can keep telling me, oh, I'll be there, oh, I'll be there, oh, I'll be there. It's something that could have sold on a Tuesday. Now I'm still waiting on like a Sunday for somebody to show up. It's like, nah, like, the guy who came on Friday gets it, like, just come and get it. So I did have someone else, a potential customer, message me back saying that like, they were surprised that I sold it, and that I didn't wait for them because they were coming on the weekend and they would have paid in advance. And I'm like, well, we never had that conversation. And I talked to you the other day and I told you that there were multiple people interested. And I told you it was first come, first serve. It's like, I didn't know if you were actually coming. There's no guarantee that the people are going to show up when they say they're going to show up. So I try to treat it like any other store. you know if you're gonna buy something, you come and you buy it. But I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just, I've got stuff to do. Certain days I can't just be like waiting at home all day for people to like come and pick stuff up. Especially if it's multiple items. Like, I've got other things I'm trying to do at certain times, and then when it's like I end up scheduling something inside of some other appointment, it's like, you know sometimes I'm online doing other important stuff. I'm not, but I didn't remember about this health group. I honestly forgot about it, and so, you know, so I log in like 5 minutes early, get online after the shower and all that, and while I'm waiting for this guy, and we just go around and do introductions. And they just kind of explain things to us, and they had us just go around and explain kind of maybe where we're at with our health. And I think they told us that they want us to lose, the goal is to lose 5% body fat within, I can't remember how long. Um, there's like a time period, but basically this group goes for 4 months, and we meet weekly on Fridays at 2 o'clock, and then once a month on Fridays, for I think 3 months after that. And so it's pretty extensive. It's a pretty long program. They'll talk about things like nutritional tips and, hopefully like menus and things like that. Um, One thing to me that made it really interesting, so they want people to submit their weight and minutes of activity every week by text. Like, not, we don't all get the information, just the main head guy gets the information. And I heard people talk about so many problems. Most of them were older than me. There were probably about three people that seemed around my age range, and then one person that seemed younger than us. And so just to see a group of probably like 20 people, that were having these health issues, we all kind of had a lot in common, but I think the hard part was hearing other people talk about their health problems. Like, um, I wrote down some of the health problems that people mentioned, and it just kind of scared me. I was just like, man, because if so many people have so many issues with their physical health, and right now, with me, dealing with the tail end of COVID and having had some kind of injuries throughout the year. Not like, I don't feel like it's been like excessive injuries, but I've had maybe a couple injuries in 2023. I remember, I think 2022 was the year where I had like, it was either 2022 or 2021 where I had some bad kind of injuries, probably more from inactivity and stress than anything else. Um and yeah, I had pain in, like, no, this is what other people were saying, that they have pain in their feet, neuropathy, fatty liver, medications that make them feel sick. Um, some people were kind of like questioning their doctor's motivations for recommending certain medications, and so they some people didn't take medications. Some people weren't on medications, which is something that I was interested to learn. That I mean, people were just volunteering information, and it was fine. But I wasn't really sure. That I didn't really consider that like, oh yeah, there is a difference between if someone's being prescribed a medication for something versus not. And then people mentioning having a difficulty getting a dietitian. I remember someone else, like, we were supposed to mention like things that we like and hobbies and stuff too. And somebody mentioned that they like writing, and that kind of like sparked my interest because I was like, I like writing too, but then, like, we weren't like talking to each other too much. We were like listening to the instructor, and so, or facilitator. So it just kind of like got in my head a little bit that I was like, yeah, I should probably do some writing this weekend. And stuff like that. And yeah, I mentioned kind of like about snowboarding, how I like snowboarding. And I've noticed that, and I like music and concerts and stuff, but and I've noticed that in the last um 2 3, well, maybe like 3 years, if I count this year, maybe in the last 3 years, I've had some difficulty with um snowboarding because it's been, because I got into this sedentary lifestyle, and it's not the easiest sport, but it's something that I noticed, I definitely got worse at, because it was kind of just almost not sad, but like, because I had a mostly remote job, you know I was able to go up for 2 seasons while still working. Like, I mean, I would have to time it, so it's like, hotels, usually you check in around 3, and then usually, you have to check out around 11. So it's like I'd have to make sure I'm not on the clock at the time that I need to drive or check in, and then I'm not on the clock after the time that I have to check out, because then it's like, well, if I can't work in the hotel. So there were days that I had to kind of take off, but then I could still, because they have night boarding, I could still go snowboarding after work. Um, so snowboarding, at night boarding hours are 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., and I would have logged off work at 4. But the issue was I didn't really want to drive in the dark. So I think one of the evenings I went up, it was late, but then I was like, let me leave. I don't want to drive down the mountain in the dark, really. So I chose to drive um, with the um, yeah, not I didn't really want to drive like in the dark, so I left earlier, a little bit earlier. That was a couple years back. But when I think about, you know, like, it's not that snowboarding is the only sport that I like or that I do, but it's probably the seasonal sport that I train the most for. Um or at all for. Like, I don't really train for anything else. Like, I might go to the gym and do some stuff, but usually I'm not training for anything specific. And so I've kind of noticed um that I do like to to you know I like to train for it. When I know I'm gonna go up, I start training, and so I'm just kind of I wouldn't say I'm like fully disappointed or whatever. I'm just kind of a little bit like, I'm like tired. A lot of times I'm kind of tired. I'm a little foggy. Like, I can use caffeine to get my energy where it needs to be, but my sleep is always kind of like a little off here and there. And so it is kind of a lot to manage in a day, and then having to be so busy and doing all this other stuff, and then having this time of mostly of this year of 2023 to spend a lot of time off from a regular work schedule. and having more flexibility in my schedule, meaning way more flexibility in my money too, which on the lower end of the money, that's not necessarily too fun, but it's like I can kind of tailor my energy to work when I have the energy, or take days off when I have to take days off and handle other stuff. I can schedule appointments more flexibly and all this kind of stuff. So it's taken months to even get to this point. I'd say since I moved back to LA, I've probably lost about 15 pounds. And within this year, um, maybe almost 10, like 9 pounds or so, 8, 9 pounds. And you guys know I don't work out that much. Like, I don't go to the gym every single day. I think I looked at my, there's an episode where I looked at my kind of calendar journal where I write things down, where I've been writing it down for ages now. And um, it shows the projects I worked on, like dance projects, flexibility projects, and just where I kind of fell off with a lot of stuff. But um, I'm really not super diligent with the physical activity. Um, my energy levels, my sleep issues, and my just mood issues, and just general like wanting to be lazy and save money on gas, make it so I don't really go to the gym as much as I probably could. um I'll probably go to the gym this evening. Actually, I was kind of thinking about that, and not really even do anything, just go stretch, um maybe go in the sauna or something, but maybe just go and stretch. I don't know if I'm really gonna do much. I don't think I can do much, in all honesty, but that might be worth it to me to just go even for 20 minutes. But I don't know. That might be pushing it. I don't. I might wait till Sunday. But or just do something at home. Like, I have bands um that I use. I might do some foam rolling or something that's like beneficial but isn't going to be too overwhelming. Like, I'm not trying to get in like a full body like workout today. Like, as you can tell, you can probably tell my throat isn't in it yet. Like, you know, I don't think I'm eating properly and hydrating properly enough to have enough calories in me. And that's one thing about like some weight loss. I think with COVID, I've lost a couple pounds, and so because my appetite is just like off. I'm not eating as high calories as I usually do. I'm not really active like at all. Like, I literally, like last week, I literally just laid there. Um, but I've been taking a lot of CBD as well, so I think that actually helped with like the when you lay down for too long, when your back starts hurting and everything. Like, I haven't had like that kind of pain, so it's been actually comfortable to lay down. So I'm kind of glad about that. But usually it's like my neck starts hurting, my shoulders start hurting, my back starts hurting. I haven't had those issues. But yeah, I was listening to all these people talk about, their health issues and stuff, and I started thinking about, because I only made some comments, but just hearing other people talking, saying that like they really like to cook and they like to eat a lot of sweets, or some people saying like they really don't like to exercise and stuff like that. Like, I was kind of like, I'm not like comparing myself, but I was just kind of like looking at the contrast between like issues I have and issues they have. Like, I just listed all the issues that I have with like the sleep and all the other stuff. And then, and also, I feel like I don't know, I could probably do better at having like a de-stressing kind of routine. Um which is another reason why I want to get back into music. Why I kind of am getting back into it. It's just with COVID, I haven't been able to really like do much. But I last Monday, like early this week, I went well, I listened. No, was it last Monday? No, I don't think it was Monday of this week. It must have been Monday of last week. I kind of like binge listened to a lot of music, and then I think it was probably Wednesday of this week. I got like into listening to these songs about it was, I think I talked about it, maybe, I don't know. It was the song that was made by this guy. Um, People tell him to do like covers as if one person wrote some other song. Um, and he did a cover of as if Korn wrote that song, "A Thousand Miles" by Vanessa, whatever her name is. I don't know if it's Clarkson or something like that, Carlson or something, like where she's playing the piano and they're driving down the street. Um, they did a cover of that. It didn't really sound, my friend mentioned it doesn't really sound like the actual song too much, and I was like, yeah, you're right. I like the way it sounds though, and it kind of intrigued. I was like intrigued, and the other day I was listening to that lady who, um, makes those YouTube videos. She's like a professional vocalist or something like that, and she makes these videos like kind of like reviewing or critiquing or giving her like first impressions of a song based on like the vocals. And you know I got into that. I was like, wow, because she was doing that one um System of a Down song, and then there were some other songs that she had on there, and a lot of them she'd heard for the first time, so she's giving like a reaction, and like just to see her reaction for some of it. I think the other song was Freak on a Leash by Korn. I was like, it was just funny to see her just so like like captured by the video and the song. And I like heavy music. I like all kinds of stuff, as people know, but I listen to a lot of like like Slipknot, Metallica, like Korn, like a lot of like new metal, a lot of like even stuff like Symphony X. um but I like hip hop too. Kind of like the modern rap songs, like old school like Biggie and like KRS-One and Snoop, and you know I don't know, you name it. Like, I'm not super super picky with music, and I started kind of hearing some music from other countries too, and I was like, this is some pretty dope music. And like I've listened to international music for a long time too. Like, just whatever I want to listen to or start getting in the mood to listen to, I just listen to it. And I was watching that movie Red Violin this week. I don't know if it's still free on YouTube, but it was when I was watching it. And just stuff like that. Like, I wasn't really able to play, but I was just like listening to stuff. And then last night I was like, let me play a little bit. And then I was like, okay, I don't really know exactly where I want to go. So I was looking at some music and seeing if I could like read the notes. And then I was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do. And I think I wrote the notes wrong. Like, I took this music appreciation class back in college, so it must have been like, dude, I don't even know. Let's call it like 2005 or 2006 or something around there. It was a long, long time ago, and I had this little sheet music, like blank sheet music, um, where I think the CD jacket of the CD that we had of songs that we had to listen to for certain chapters had like some of the sheet music, like a couple like bars of it or something, I think. And so I sorry, I'm just laughing at bars. Well, I think I told this story, but once when I was singing karaoke with some friends, like there was some song that came on. I don't remember what it was. It was like Lindsay Lohan or something, like one of those songs from like Disney or something, and somebody was singing it, and then one of my friends was like, bars, like kind of jokingly. I can't remember what the song was though. It was from like Lizzie McGuire or something. I don't remember. But we were just like, I was laughing so hard. I'm still laughing. It was like a year ago, and I'm still laughing about it. It's so hilarious. Um, and I don't remember the song. It was such a stupid song. Well, for him to say that at that timing, I was just like, what? Because it was not anything deep at all. It was like, um, I don't know. I really don't remember what song it was, but it might not even been her. But I remember that, and then yeah, well, writing down the bars of the song. And when I was trying to play it last night, I was like, I think I wrote the notes wrong. One of them was for like a song by Schubert. Another one was for a song by Bach. I was like, this doesn't sound right. Or I just don't know how to play it. Like, I was just like, I looked at it and I was like, this seems like it's going to be too energy taxing for me because I already can't think as it is. And then trying to like read music, and I'm like dead tired by that point. So, I had some fun with it, and then I just was like, let me just listen to music and just like when I listen to music, I like to think about it and like maybe learn the lyrics a little bit and some of the like how some of the parts sound and stuff. Um, like it's not like I'm studying it, but it's like, I'm not just always only there just to like sing along. Like sometimes I want to like learn it. So sometimes I approach songs like that. And I think I kind of got interested in it because one of my friends, uh, or I'll call him like a church mate of someone I grew up with that I've known since I was like 5, but we don't really talk. He lives in like another state and we're on Instagram. And I see that he's still involved in music, and I guess he helped out a couple ladies with the track. And I was looking at it on Spotify, to see if that track, if it had his like what his role was, because they were thanking him on Instagram for like helping with another track. And I was like, oh, did he play the guitars, or what did he do, like? And it doesn't say anything uh in the credits, so I was like, dang, like I may never know. um, but I was curious to know because he was always like into singing and acting, and played trumpet and really good guitarist. And I don't know if he played anything else. He probably did. He was one of those people that could pick up a lot of instruments, but um he kind of got me into some music. And then um but yeah, we knew each other for a long time, off and on, and he used to visit on occasion. I haven't seen him in years. I might never see him again. I don't really know. But I don't know. I just um kind of enjoy, you know, when there's people I know who are kind of into music, kind of knowing where they're at with it and stuff. Um, like I used to know people who made music more, but I don't really know anybody right now that I could get involved in any projects with like easily. Like I'm kind of doing something kind of more remotely with somebody, but other than that, um, I don't really think I can do much more. Honestly, that just sounds like a lot to add to my plate. As much as I'd like to, it's like it sounds like it would take a whole lot of energy. But I don't know. It could be worth it. It's just my energy lately just feels so spread thin. Especially because I don't have like I do have a routine of a sort, but there's so many things throughout the week that need to get done, and I don't really consistently do them on certain days. Like I've got my internship meetings Mondays, 10 to 2, sorry, 10 to 12, and now I'm going to have this Friday meeting 2 to 3. Um And I've got another Thursday meeting, 12 to 1. And so I've got like three things during the week that I have to be involved with. And I try to do deliveries, you know, depending on my energy, sometime between like my favorite days are Sundays, so I would say my favorite time is like Sundays, like 10 o'clock or 10:30 or so. But then from then, my favorite time is um um like yeah, I'd say I don't really have another favorite time other than Sundays. Um, but I don't really do Saturdays because it gets dark. Um, I don't really want to be working in the dark, basically. And then Fridays, I don't do. Uh, well, I wouldn't say I don't do Fridays, but it's like I'll do like Monday through Friday or Sunday through Friday, pretty much. Wednesdays, I usually don't do anything. Um, Wednesdays are the days that I kind of take off. Um, but I don't really know. Like I'm flexible with all of it, but I've kind of kept that most of this year, just having Wednesdays kind of off. Um, and then Saturdays are pretty much off. And then Sundays, I don't really know. Sundays are the best day because there's no traffic and people are at home. And so if I feel like I can get more orders in a longer span of time and there's not like the Saturday or Friday kind of traffic. Weekdays, it's mostly lunch. That's probably my prime time. But then it also gets in the way of me eating my lunch because I'm like, dude, like I want to eat my food too. So it's kind of hard being in the car with all that food. So sometimes I might only deliver for just like an hour or so, which in LA that's like nothing because things are so spread out. It's like an hour is like maybe two deliveries, probably in all honesty. Um, or maybe I'll get like a third because sometimes they stack them. But yeah, I don't really know. Like that's basically kind of where I'm at with things. Um, when I start thinking about the LGBT community, like I don't really know the health percentages with like health related topics. I really don't know those details. But I was learning some other topics, some other percentages, like in general. It's so common for Americans to have health issues. Like even when I look at my own family, the younger generation seems a little healthier. Um, I think we're a little more health conscious. Most of my cousins in the Midwest are pretty healthy. Um, they're pretty healthy. Uh, they're just pretty healthy. Like I don't really know what else to say. Um, like not all of them, but I think they think about it. You know what I mean? At least the females do. The guys don't seem like they're. The guys tend to drink a lot more, so I don't really know. They kind of got like guts and weight on them and stuff from that. And yeah, my aunts and uncles, like my mom talks to them every week, like every Sunday, and I feel like my aunts and uncles are completely like almost all of them have some kind of diagnosis of some kind. Unfortunately, they're working on it. They're going to appointments and getting stuff done, but we've had a couple cancer diagnoses. I mean, you know, I don't know how many people on my mom's side have cancer. I know my grandfather did, my grandmother did, one of my aunts did when she was young, and now I think one of my younger uncles does. One of my other uncles who's older, I think he does. People have certain other things, diabetes, cataracts, um, all kind of intestinal issues, all kind of, um, it's just kind of scary. Like when I think of it, I'm like, damn, like, people have had so many different issues and surgeries and procedures and medications and stuff. And I'm like, they're in their like 60s, I think. Maybe somewhere in their 70s. So I'm kind of like, dude, like, what is up with you guys? Like, get it together, kind of thing. I try to encourage them to like eat healthy. Like I tell them every now and then when I'm going to the gym or eating something healthy, and be like, oh yeah, I went to the gym, or like I'm gonna go do this or whatever, or like what they cooked and certain stuff. And I don't think that they eat fast food too much. That's one thing I've noticed. Because they live kind of rurally. It's just that the food that people cook, maybe it's not. I don't know. Because they do have pretty big gardens, but they're older now, so I don't really know if they still keep those huge gardens of like vegetables and corn and like hunting like deer and rabbits and fishing and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if they get so much natural meat and vegetables and fruits and stuff. Because a lot of my family members, when I grew up, they were kind of like that. Like, they would fish all the time and, like, probably buy, like, you know, buy stuff, you know, from other people around them or get stuff from other people. So, you know, like if somebody went hunting and got something, but I don't really know. I don't really hear about them doing a lot of hunting and stuff anymore. A lot of my cousins um, kind of moved to like the city-ish areas, and so they moved out of the rural area to like the surrounding, you know, like areas, probably for work-related reasons. Uh, so like the older people, like my aunts and uncles, live a little more rurally, and then a lot of my cousins live in like the city areas. And I don't know, man. Like it just seems like a lot. Um, the cities just seem like um can be kind of a lot to you know to kind of deal with in in different types of states. Um, because here, like in LA, we have fast food, of course, but like there are slightly healthier options, like quite a few like healthier options. Like if you're not gonna eat cooked food from home, you can get some pretty healthy food, you know, takeout or like you don't have to settle for like McDonald's and Wendy's and stuff. Like you still have like Chipotle and Subway and like places where you actually see like vegetables in your food. Um I mean, calorie wise, they're like your whole day's worth of calories almost, but I mean like it's a little healthier. Um like it's easier to find healthy choices. But it doesn't mean that it's necessarily easier to make healthier choices, but sometimes it's like, okay, do I want to go to In and Out? Do I want to go to McDonald's? Like they're both burgers, but at least it's like In and Out is more like fresh and natural and cheaper. And then there's other places, that are kind of similar thinking, where it's like you can still get fast food or cheaper food. Like I know a place where you can get two pretty big bean and cheese burritos and chips, homemade chips and homemade salsa for like under $7. And if you compare that to like Taco Bell, like I have one on the other corner. Like one corner has a Taco Bell, the other corner has this like fresh Mexican food restaurant that has like a really cheap price menu. And so it's like, yeah, if I want to order, park, get out of my car, go in the restaurant and pay for it and pick it up versus like go through the Taco Bell drive through, you know what I mean? So it's like I can make those kind of decisions where it's like, okay, this place has more food for less money and it's healthier, but I gotta walk in and maybe wait 10 minutes extra versus Taco Bell, where I still have to sit in the line. They do still take a couple minutes, but it's probably going to cost more than $7, and the health quality is not as good. And so, I kind of think of it that way. Sometimes I'm like, okay, like I'm actually. Sometimes it is you can actually in LA sometimes eat cheaper and better quality food than the fast food places, because a lot of fast food places, if you get a combo, it's going to be over $10, and there are still places that you can spend under $10 and get you know a little bit of takeout, um and it usually is kind of healthier, like maybe not fully healthier, but in a lot of ways it's healthier, like so those are just examples in my neighborhood that I know of where I get to make that conscious decision. If I'm like, oh, I want a burrito, I can actually get a healthier, cheaper burrito than a fast food place. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like some places don't really have that as much. Like LA is a huge city, and it does have a lot of healthy options. Some neighborhoods maybe have less healthier options, but overall, I would say you can always find like a mom and pop place that, I'm not saying that their ingredients are like always better than McDonald's or whatever, but if you think about like, a classic like mom and pop diner that kind of makes their own hash browns and makes their own stuff, it's like maybe it's not all organic or whatever, but I mean, it's probably healthier than your big breakfast from McDonald's, whatever that country style breakfast or whatever it's called, like, or something from like Denny's or IHOP. You have that mom and pop diner that like makes their own pancake batter and all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It can be a little bit healthier sometimes. So, and I've noticed just from, I exercise, but I feel like I do it more for like, cuz it's more of a stress reliever. I don't think I really exercise for like weight loss necessarily. Like that's kind of my goal with it. It's to kind of stay in shape, but I don't feel like I exercise enough, like a heavy enough workout where it's like, oh yeah, that helped towards the progress of losing weight. Like I don't think my workouts are like that intense. Like I'll sit on a bike and get movement and like, lift and like, get a pump and stuff, but it's like I don't do it consistently enough throughout the week that it makes too much of a difference, I don't think. Um like at most I'll go to the gym like 3-4 times a week. That's like most. And I don't even think I have hardly any weeks like that. Like, and my gym workouts are usually better than my home workouts. But home workouts I'll usually do like triceps, push-ups, sit-ups, some kind of sit-ups, not like the classic sit-ups, but the sit-ups that are from like the P90X core episode. Um, they're kind of like very like variations of sit-ups. Um, I'll do those types instead of just like your classic sit-up or crunch. And I mean, this isn't every day. It's maybe once or twice a week. I honestly don't work out that much. I think about it more than I actually do it. Uh, and I haven't really changed my diet that much, I don't think. I'd say the things that I cut out more recently, I stopped eating so many like of those like Doritos, Cheetos, those kind of fun sized chips that we get a box of freaking like 60 something. I stopped eating those like 2, 3 times a week. Um, or those little cookies. We get those like mini Oreos, mini Chips Ahoy. I used to eat those like 2, 3 times a week as well. Um, that's the main thing I've cut out in recent weeks. Uh, and just adding a little bit more fruit. Um, maybe a little bit less instant ramen. Um, But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I eat like so healthy. Like I eat healthy enough, but I do eat like a lot of pre-made foods, but it's like pre-made deli stuff usually, so I guess that helps. I don't know. But like I've got stuff to make like turkey sandwiches, I'll put like pickles and avocado and some fresh deli sliced turkey and I said avocado already and you know so we have a lot of stuff that we can kind of make, I guess. Like that's an easy one for me. Sandwiches are an easy one for me. Perfect bars. Um yeah, I don't really know. Like I'm really not doing like much more than like eating at home more. And I'll get like fast food once, maybe twice a week. I used to eat takeout a whole lot more. I don't eat it as much anymore. Um, so yeah, I don't really know. Like I'm just trying to think about any changes I've made. Like it's been slow but consistent changes. Like, and eating less McDonald's. I switched my burgers from McDonald's, which is closer, to kind of take about 20-30 minutes out of the way to go get in and out because you do have to wait in line like 10-15 minutes, and it's not like right near me. It's like a couple miles away. So I don't know. It's not like that bad. Um, you know, it's I tend to have a pretty good time with things like whatever I'm doing, it's kind of working, but um, I don't know. Like my sleep is still like way out of whack. Um, you know, which isn't good. So, like, I'm actually able to sleep on time for the most part. That part's easy, but I wake up a lot more often, like the last week or two. But it's probably a COVID thing too. So I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of where things are at. I'm glad about this new group. I'm hoping it'll be something nice and helpful and useful. And I mean, if the goal is the 5% body fat, um, then we'll just shoot for that. Um, that's the goal of this group. Um, and I guess I've kind of proven to myself that just being consistent with healthier choices. Like I'm literally not like I'll still eat like canned beans, canned soup, hot dogs, you know, like I mentioned, instant ramen, eggs, like scrambles. Like I make a lot of scrambles, chili, um, I don't know, pastas, all kinds of things. I eat kind of like whatever. But a lot of it is cooked, even like some of the frozen stuff, like taquitos, chicken, like those frozen chicken things that you heat up in the oven, cauliflower crust pizzas, Rouse brick oven pizzas. Um, I don't eat the whole thing. I usually eat half of the pizza and split the other half with my mom. But yeah, I kind of usually have something, and you know, pretty much 3 meals a day. And I guess it's been working. I mean, that's the only real thing that I've changed. I haven't been working out too intensely when I do work out, so I'm gonna say that most of the weight going down is probably from, just eating better and not spending so much money on takeout. Because I was spending money on takeout more, and then I decided to stop because it's expensive. Um, but And because I'm home so much, it's like there's no real excuse to not really cook. Like I'm literally just sitting at the house, working on stuff at the house a lot of the time, and so it's kind of easy for me. I like Jersey Mike's. Um, that's a sandwich that I really like. Um, but I'm kind of a foodie. I like so many different types of food. Um, I'm usually cool with that. So, um, yeah, I think that's pretty much all for now. Like, but we'll see where the group goes. Um, I'm hoping we will get some kind of like recipes and stuff that we can try out or something. I still have to cook that lion's mane, so I might do that today. Um, or sometime this weekend. But yeah. All right, well, this is almost an hour long. I've kind of rambled a lot. Enough about this. I don't really have much more to say. That's kind of what I wanted to follow up on. And yeah, so have a good weekend.